completely machinima. And now for something completely machinima. And now for something completely machinima.
Hello and welcome to And Now for Something Completely Machinima, the podcast about machinima, virtual production, and related technologies. My name's Phil Rice, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Ricky Grove and Damien Valentine.
Hello.
Tracy is away. I forgot to mention that in our last recording, but Tracy is away, traveling the world as she does. She's been just all over. So we look forward to her return soon.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So this week we are this is an unusual pick of mine because it's not really a pick. That is one that you might stumble across from the algorithm. This is from me spending a little time on TikTok. Now, this is not the first time that I had done this. A couple years back, I looked at both TikTok and Pinterest, where people post videos of, various things. Just looking to see, is there any signs of life, anything of interest going on in those spheres? And at the time, the answer was no, or not enough to warrant discussion. But I was surprised this time around when I did a survey to find that there's quite a bit of content, and it's thematically there's a lot different emphasis, as I guess one would expect in TikTok. So I basically created a little compilation of about 10 or so TikTok videos that are, if they're not directly machinima, then they're kind of, auxiliary. They're related to video games or that kind of thing, and put them together into a little reel. And then I posted it up on Vimeo, which we'll have the link in the description here. So, and I just titled it The Wild World of TikTok. It's annotated with kind of a little description of each video, and also, the creator TikTok name is visible for each of them. So if you wanted to go hunt them down, you can, but it's kind of hard you can't do a playlist on TikTok itself. So that's why I had to do it that way. Anyway, yeah, there's quite a variety of content. A lot of it is of what I would call a disposable nature, more so than YouTube itself is, which, don't get me wrong, YouTube is full of plenty of that too. But I think because of just the nature of the way TikTok works, it's going to gravitate to that kind of thing. But there were some interesting surprises in here. One in particular, there's one in there that the username on TikTok, I believe, is called Perfect Loop or something like that. And he is creating this animated artwork using all these kind of retro images and graphics and stuff, and just extraordinarily unique looking. And it resonates a lot with me because a lot of the eras that he seems to focus on graphically are ones where, that I grew up on, early versions of Windows. Sometimes it's old Nintendo systems or C64 or things like that. So that was one that really stood out to me. There's a number of them in here. Some of them are just gameplay. There's one trend where people are doing live action commentary or recreations of video game scenarios, which is very conducive for TikTok, where a lot of people are just recording stuff right on their phone, So, and one of them that was particularly funny, I popped into the list as well. So there's a number of them in there. I'm not going to detail every single one, but I thought it was an interesting look at TikTok. It doesn't make it more attractive to me as a distribution platform for my work, but there's certainly a huge audience there for this kind of stuff. And I'm curious to see what you guys think of this, if you'd ever even been exposed to any of this kind of stuff before or not. And so, what do you think?
Well, I was interested to see whether you developed any criteria for your choices.
Yeah, it's hard to pin that down because I tried to, but all the criteria that I came up with ended up being too narrow. So it ended up being more of
I see.
a grab bag. So it was really, it wasn't random by any means. There were several dozen videos that I had to start with and narrowed it down. And yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint the criteria that was used other than just this isn't just like one of the other videos in the list, and it's interesting in some way. It has some
I see.
interesting feature. Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
not
Well,
terribly scientific.
your sense of humor came across because quite a few of the choices were humorous, you know.
Yeah,
You also did it really well. I like the problem of presenting information about the film and the film itself. And plus the fact that it's in that vertical style, I thought you solved that problem really well. Good soundtrack and everything. I enjoyed the presentation, although I have to say I'm going to show my age here. And it was annoying to see all of the juvenile humor. Kids playing with smashing, blowing up, cutting, shooting, blow. You know, it's really hard to fathom. I'm not a TikToker, but I assume that's the mode there. One of the things that really bothered me was the mass killing. There were two scenes that you included of people just walking around with a gun shooting people. That bothered me because it's, in a sense, it's normalized. I understand why, because we have a society that's normalized that. But I was really sad to see that people are clicking likes on that kind of shit.
yeah.
There were a few smart ones, though. I like the divorce attorney. One was quite witty with the live action guy and at the bottom there was two frames. Top frame is the live action guy reacting, and the bottom is this divorce attorney, fast talking, very funny, definitely in your vein. Really good stuff.
That one, not to interrupt, but that one is actually directly that's gameplay. That is a real tutorial in a real game that's on Steam. The game itself doesn't look anything like that. This is basically a introductory tutorial to this game that is very humor based, but the game itself is like a very strange first person shooter type of game, but it includes this as part of warming you up to the environment with that narrator. And to me, this is much more interesting than the actual game. Like the game is not anything I would ever buy or want to play, but I loved the shtick of this
Oh, it's
guy.
just great. The voice actor who voiced that character was just fabulous. You know, it's a familiar and yet quite unique portrait. And also the since it's vertical, you get this top live action person looking and smiling and laughing, and then this sort of primitive 3D pixelized divorce attorney going on and on and on. It's just marvelous, marvelous. And then the other one that you mentioned in your comment about that artistic one using graphics from various periods and songs. I really like that one as well. So that made me feel really good. The other stuff I just thought was so inane. Again, you know, I'm an older person. Maybe I just don't have a stomach for that. I think maybe with a few beers I might find them interesting, but
Sure.
just annoying more than anything else.
Yeah, I think I better understand your initial question for me about criteria. So like, was I picking these because I think that they're the best of what's on there? Where really my aim was more of to represent what I found, right? And some of it is, yeah, some of
Just
it
like
is
that.
quite distasteful, yeah,
Like
and some of
cars,
it's amazing.
cars in GTA, 10,000 speed increase which initially would be funny if you treated it as a funny video, but it was treated as a how many people can die, how many people can be shot, how many cars can blow up. It just lacked imagination.
Yes.
The I kind of agree there's a little bit too much of the random violence ones, but the violent one I enjoyed most was the Far Cry one, where he's killing the people, but the person who's doing it has spent a lot of time learning and understanding exactly how the physics works in the game. And that I really admired. Not necessarily the killing, but just understanding the way the game works to be able to pull off this video. Like the bit where um he throws the weapon up, I think it's an axe, up in the air, and he knows exactly the angle to use and the timing to get it to hit the guy that's coming down. And the other one was when he blows up a car, but again, he knew exactly where to put the explosives to make it fly and land where he wanted it to land. That's something that takes a lot of time to learn how the game works and to be able to do that.
It's almost a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine that he was
Yes,
doing
that's
there,
a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I could see how some people would find it interesting, but again, it lacks imagination. Had the guy created some sort of monologue that the character was talking about, in which he was saying, and now they're going to be surprised when I set this up, or boy, those guys, you'd get some sense of a real character, but instead the emphasis is all on murder and mayhem and Rube Goldberg effects. Now, I suppose you can admire somebody for spending time in a game doing that, but then I would think this person must have an awful lot of time to remember that shit.
Yeah.
And perhaps they could have used that time to come up with something a little more original.
Yeah, I can see that too. The live action one of the guy doing the tutorial, that I really enjoyed it. And Phil, you mentioned it's from the Viva La Dirt League. They've got a YouTube channel where they do so many game-inspired videos that are all live action, and most of them are pretty hilarious. They sometimes they're themed around specific games, and they will pick on the flaws of that game and make jokes.
Like Red Dead Redemption, they've done.
Yeah.
A couple others. Yeah, they're terrific. This skit in the compilation wasn't one of theirs.
Okay.
But I was kind of evoking this is kind of in the vein of them, which I've been following them for years too. Viva La Dirt League. Yeah.
Yeah. And as for we're being a little bit out of touch with the TikTok generation. I was at a convention a couple of months ago, and I sat down to have lunch, and there's a big like food court area and tables and chairs, and I sat down eating a sandwich, and then there were lots of teenagers who were there with their tripods, and they're in costume, and they're recording themselves on their phone. Like there was one girl who was close to where I was sitting and eating, and I was watching to see what she was doing without, staring at her, because obviously I'm significantly older than her, and I don't want to give her the wrong impression. But I was just kind of curious what she was up to, and she was there, and she was in some kind of green outfit. I have no idea what it was, and then the tripod was in front of her, and she had a friend who was sat down watching her, who was eating her lunch. And she was doing this dance thing, and the music was playing, and then she'd record it, and then the friend said, "That was good, but you should do this instead." And they're giving each other feedback. And I thought, okay, I know this is from TikTok, but I have absolutely no idea why this is going to be entertaining. But I'm glad they're having fun. So,
there was one episode that you included, Phil, that I just remembered that I thought was the best of the group, and it was this live action video of a guy recreating the nonsense that AI NPCs go through.
That's the one Damien was referring to. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
That's one of my favorites in the reel too. Yeah.
Now that's an example of somebody thinking about and then translating it into very funny acting and dialogue. It was just terrific. And if they had more of those on TikTok, I'd be there all the time.
One of the things that's nice about TikTok, and there are not very many things that are nice about TikTok, but one of them is if you hit the like button on, let's say, videos like this, it will feed you more. So it's really hard to search for something. I've found I have no idea how to successfully search for something specific on TikTok, but if you it will listen to you. If you say that you like this, then that's what you'll get. If you like a bunch of random carnage, it's going to just feed you more of that. So yeah, it's something to just be aware of. It's a very strange environment, and yeah, the types of videos are very unusual. They're clearly geared for shorter attention spans, generally speaking.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, what was interesting to me is to occasionally find people like that Perfect Loop creator who is in the midst of all this noise and thoughtlessness, so to speak. He's putting art out there. Like it's just gorgeous. I think he does the music for his stuff too. Like
Oh
it's
my
it just
goodness.
that's just something that he
Talented
just
man.
that's what he does. And it's regular videos from him. He's doing that. And they're all consistently of that vibe. And yet no two of them look the same at all. Like a lot of innovation going on there. So yeah, it's kind of I guess maybe the way to sum it up is TikTok is kind of there's something for everybody, but how to find stuff is I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Like I don't even know how I ended up stumbling upon all of these because it took a lot of wandering around and swiping away stuff that was just nonsense. So is it worth the time to go and seek out a few gems in a litter box? I don't know, but you know, to each his own. Audience, what did you think? Do you have some comments for us? Do you know of any creators on TikTok who are actually doing something innovative and creative? If so, we'd love to hear about them. I would anyway.
Me
Drop us
too.
a comment wherever you watch or listen to this, or drop us an email at talk@completelymachinima.com. My name is Phil Rice, and on behalf of my co-hosts, Damien Valentine and Ricky Grove, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, I'm the one that has to hit stop.
Yeah.
There we go.